How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It seems my video, that was supposed to go live on the 12th. Something went horribly wrong on YouTube and it pushed it live on the 13th, which might have confused some of you, as a lot of it didn't make sense because the Game Awards had just gone out. So massive apologies for that. I'm, in contact with YouTube to try and sort that out, and hopefully it doesn't happen again, because that video wholly didn't make any sense because the Game Awards had already taken place. But it was a mistake, it was an error on YouTube. I'm guessing they were getting hammered that day, and well, day before and the day after, things just went wrong. So just wanted to clarify that one, because it was weird and I found it weird and it was just overly not great. But the Game Awards came across and there were some controversial moments. Last year we had the please wrap it up. This year we have the Ken Kutaragi situation, which in my opinion was a massive disrespect to him. Considering how much Jeff Keighley actually simps over PlayStation, this one was a little weird. But we've also got the biggest controversial one of the day, and in my opinion, it has to be the Outer Worlds. So we're going to go through a bunch of stuff and go through, some of the trailers that I thought were great. Well, the standouts for me that made me actually really excited. But first, let's have the drop. Okay, so this first one we have over here from John Linneman, and it's, I get his confusion. When they mentioned Ken Kutaragi, I was expecting him to come up and make a speech. He himself thought that that was going to be the case. When you look at it over here, you can see that, he got up, he's walking over, the cameraman thought he was going up, everyone was confused, and then he just continued like nothing happened. I mean, this guy is literally just awful at this. He really is. I get there's a lot that actually goes on here, but he could have given the guy 5 minutes to actually make that speech. I think this is wholly disrespectful and a slap in the face, and, if I was PlayStation, I would give him the middle finger going forward, because this, especially for a culture like Japan, disrespecting them is like disrespecting them. It is disrespecting their family name, their heritage, and this is deep. He has clearly no respect for anyone outside of his money grabbing ways. OniMusha, this has been a game that's been, I love since back in the OG Xbox PS2 days. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely brilliant. And I'm really happy to see that they're making a comeback. Now, a lot of people are asking for, the prequels to kind of be remastered and brought to today. It's been years since we've had these games. There's also a Netflix anime that kind of, I guess, brought this all together. But you kind of knew when the moment you saw those orbs and his fist came into view, that was it. I mean, I was cheering, because to me, OniMusha is a special game, and I was super excited to see this. Yes, I know what people are going to say. Oh, so now remakes are cool. Dude, this game is old, right? It's not something that was made 3 weeks ago, and then they decided to remaster it. So, come on, let's not be silly here. OniMusha, I'm hoping, is going to be great, but it is 2026, so it is a long way away from where we are right now. This next one is Okami. Again, this came out of nowhere, and maybe when they said there was going to be 2 massive announcements, they were actually referring to OniMusha and Okami, because up until the Game Awards, I heard nothing about these at all. Like, at all. Now, there was one more other game that we saw that was potentially a big one by the developers, by the same team that made Eco Shadow of Colossus. But these I did not see coming at all. We got a nice trailer, not really any gameplay, but for those that love Okami and love, OniMusha, this is going to be an absolute treat. Now, obviously, unlike OniMusha, Okami has no release date, but it is coming, I assume, to all platforms. But of course, now we come to the controversial one, which is, of course, the big topic of the video, the Outer Worlds. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, it was on PlayStation originally as well, so this kind of is a no-brainer. Now, that doesn't fly. Not with me. Now, I know during the FTC trial that Matt Booty said that a decision hadn't yet been made when it came to The Outer Worlds 2 on whether it would be appearing on the PS5 or not. Now, to me, that was all PR talk to get the FTC off their back, because the FTC wanted every single game Xbox had to go to PlayStation. Especially with this acquisition, they wanted the whole slate, and they weren't happy for anything but the whole slate being promised on the day, which even Phil told them to piss off. But this clip here, which D-Batch has, conveniently dug up, shows you Xbox Game Studios presents Xbox console exclusive, and they are showing you The Outer Worlds. And to me, this is where the problem lies, right? If you come out and say that a game is going to be console exclusive, you stick by it. Now, it could be timed exclusive, right? When you say a console exclusive, that does include timed. Make it 6 months, make it whatever you want. But to go back on your word like this, I think is just not right. Again, I understand the points people are making in regards to the whole, well, the first one was on PlayStation, it's a legacy title, but they came out and already made that commitment. Not everyone is going to be following the FTC trial, so you can't really just bank on that and hoping someone is going to be up to date with all the intricacies of the FTC trial, which, by the way, is still ongoing, even though Lena Khan has left the building, John Cena style. But the wound does get deeper when you see Xbox advertising Game Pass, Xbox, PC, PS5, and then you go and check out PlayStation, and they've just removed everything else and just left PS5, making it look like it's a PlayStation exclusive. Now, Microsoft originally said, we want games to potentially go to other platforms so we can entice them to come over to us. But if those consumers are only seeing that this is available for the PS5, it doesn't matter if Xbox Game Studios is there. That just makes you look like a third party even more than you are. How can your messaging actually get out there? The original message by the team was that, games like Hi-Fi Rush going to other platforms will entice them to come over for Hi-Fi Rush 2. We all saw how that ended up. I'm not even going to get into that kettle of fish. But if that's the same thinking mentality that Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond has, I'm pretty sure Matt Booty is against all of this. 100%, especially with the comments he made in the emails that we read that were, leaked or portrayed during the FTC trial. He's 100% against it, but the point is, he doesn't have a say in this. Now, when it comes to The Outer Worlds 2, it's clear here that Sony's intention is to completely and utterly eradicate Microsoft as a platform holder. And I think this is exactly what Satya wants as well. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. If we look over here, this is a prime example of what Xbox does. And they did this with Indiana Jones as well. Doom, The Dark Ages, coming 2025 to Game Pass, Xbox Series S and X, Steam, and PS5. And now if we check out how it is, and this is on the Xbox channel by the way, and now if we check it out on the PlayStation, coming to PS5 only. So if you are a PlayStation fan, and you are only looking at the PlayStation side of things, you don't go and check, you've got no interest in the console wars, and you've got no interest in checking out anything else. All you want to do is just go to the PlayStation YouTube channel, PlayStation dedicated pages. If this is how they are portraying it, that messaging from Phil Spencer, where this is their grand plan, is not going to work. Because you can clearly see here that there isn't even an Xbox message here, even a logo. At least with the previous one, with Outer Worlds, there's an Xbox Game Studios logo there. Here you've got ID and Bethesda, who are owned by Microsoft Game Studios. And it's not, there's not even a logo. So what exactly, if Phil Spencer really wants to just rip the band-aid off and go full third party, maybe they should. They can still have their console, and that's not a problem. Those that want their console can still have their console. And for people that turn around and say, well, what's the point in having an Xbox? Dude, if you spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds throughout the time of your Xbox ecosystem, and you can play it on your Xbox until those games are playable on other platforms with the license that you have purchased on your console throughout the years. There is a demand for Xbox. And now for those people that don't care about their games from the Xbox One, 360, OG Xbox, you know, the back compact games. For those that don't care about those, then absolutely, there is no, problem here. You can move on if you need to. But there's nothing here to indicate that that's going to happen. Even Indiana Jones, the latest game, was said coming to Xbox, PlayStation, Xbox PC, Steam, and then one more thing, it's coming to PlayStation. Obviously, I already knew it was going there because I already let people know in my Discord the day before that it was actually going to be announced. I didn't want to make a video at the time because it just wasn't worth it, at least for me. But this is why people are annoyed, right? Xbox is saying one thing and then coming back with something else, and that's just not how you treat your customers. And you've got some who are happy with the way they're going. I'm indifferent, but then I don't have as much skin in this as other people. But I can understand why people are upset, especially with this that was originally announced. I mean, if someone turned around and bought their Xbox Series X on the notion that 3 years ago Microsoft said that this game would be exclusive, and they are a massive Obsidian fan and wanted to play the Obsidian games they want on a console because they don't like PCs, the obvious choice for that would be the Xbox. But if those games are going day and date to PlayStation, that's called false advertising. Now, obviously, nothing will probably come of it, and Microsoft will throw this out of the window, but it is false advertising. You are selling a console on the pretense that this game is going to be exclusive. That's what exclusives are for, by the way, to sell your hardware, and then you change your mind at the finishing line and say, psych, it's going everywhere. I just took your money because I wanted it, folks. That's not how business works, and that's not how you respect your paying customers. That's just me. So I understand why this one over here in particular has been doing the rounds, and why this one, especially with the Outer Worlds, is actually causing a lot of drama because people are rightfully upset. Now, I saw Unlocked, and Ryan McCaffrey pretty much caved in, and, well, I wouldn't say caved in, but he accepted the truth. He accepted the reality. And I think a lot of people need to do that. That more games will be going, especially legacy titles like Fallout 5, The Elder Scrolls 6, these games that have a franchise history. If the Outer Worlds was actually exclusive, that could have been some kind of precedent. But that just proves that anything that's now a legacy title that's not a brand new IP, like Starfield, is pretty much 99.9% going to go. That doesn't mean that Xbox doesn't have its exclusives. For now, it's going to be the only place you can play Fable, Perfect Dark. It's going to be the only place you can play Gears, Halo, Forza, if that ever changes. So there are still reasons, like I said before, to own a console. This isn't telling you not to buy an Xbox. What I'm saying here is people who turn around and say that there is no reason to own an Xbox, you're false. Now, what you really should be doing is owning multiple consoles so you never have to have this problem. But I understand also why that's not possible. But hopefully that clears that up and, put some backstory on it. The reality is, it is just a mess that Microsoft has created. The messaging is bad. There's no real precedent. There's no real direction. Every game going forward is going to be questioned. And as that does, no one in their friends group will ever recommend buying an Xbox. They just won't. And maybe that's what Microsoft wants. Who knows? But at the end of the day, that's really bad PR. Now, obviously, they're trying to water that down with the whole, this is an Xbox, you can play it anywhere. And that ecosystem works for me, right? My Xbox in year review, I spent 165 hours on my console and pretty much the same on my PC, where I bounce between them. So, in that regard, this whole play anywhere situation, for me personally, benefits me. Because if it wasn't for that, I would game a lot less. But the fact that it's there means that I can still game. But moving on to Fumito Ueda, A game by Fumito Ueda. This is pretty cool. Everyone thought that this was going to be a PlayStation exclusive, considering, you know, the games they've made in the past. But this is actually really cool. Now, this isn't obviously going to be on Steam. This is going to be on Epic Games. So they've already lost all the PC gamers day one. They're probably going to pirate it or something. So, you know, I'm not even going to get involved with that cult, with the Steam cult. But it is coming to Xbox. And it is also coming to PlayStation. And hopefully it'll be a good game. They haven't really failed to deliver yet. All their games from Ico, Shadow of the Colossus have been great. And honestly, I thought this was going to be money-hatted by Sony day one. But it wasn't. And kudos for Microsoft for actually being able to grab this and bring it to their customers. They need more games like this. And hopefully we'll start to see more. And with the success of Indiana Jones, hopefully that will spark something as well to get more games in that vein made for Xbox as well. Because clearly there is a big demand for it. Now finally, I saw this, and this one kind of, it's not really a news thing, but I think PlayStation fans are a little deluded. Now this is nothing, no shade on KGN Gamer, but when he says I have never seen a gaming studio get so much hate because of one game, I mean, he's got to be trolling, right? He's got to be trolling. Surely he was alive during the Starfield release. The way the media was attacking Starfield. The way the PlayStation fans made it their lifelong mission to attack Starfield. And even to this day, they still attack Starfield. So to turn around and say, I have never seen a game studio, maybe the guys just spent too much time in the stables. That's my guess. But folks, regardless of how you feel about the Outer Worlds and the fact that it was originally a console exclusive, then in the FTC trial, no decision had been made, and finally now the game has been announced day one on PlayStation, day and date. Obviously you have to pay on PlayStation, it's free on Game Pass. Well, quote unquote free, you still have to subscribe. But, you know, that's going to be something that's going to be talked about for a while longer because of the way the whole messaging for this game was handled. I'm hoping the game is going to be good. I'm hoping the game delivers. And ultimately, that's the most important thing. Good games. Because that's what we should all be caring about. Not how shiny the console is or what it is. Are the games good? I'm playing a lot of indie games today, and I'm really having a good time. Are the games good? And that is clearly the most important thing when it comes to these games. But it is going to be the one thing that completely dominates, in my opinion. Obviously, you've got the Game of the Year award going to Astrobot, which some may agree, some may not agree. It was a great game. But the one for me from the awards, I'm just going to add this at the end because I think it's worth mentioning. The best ongoing game, it was rigged last year to give it to Cyberpunk 2077, and it was rigged this year, giving it to Helldivers 2. That is a bad, bad move. I mean, the game hasn't even been out for a year. How can it be the best ongoing game? Now, I get it if it was alive next year and you give it to Helldivers 2 next year, but to give it this year? That sounds crazy. I mean, technically they gave it to Cyberpunk 2077, right? Which isn't even a live service. So Jeff Keighley will give it to any company that he gets paid from, I guess? I don't know. At this point, that decision in particular didn't make any sense to me. And anyone out there that thinks it does, you're just lying. It's plain simple. Both of the ongoing games shouldn't have been given. Not last year or this year. There are better games that deserved it. Warframe got snubbed. Other games got snubbed that could have replaced that. Because at the end of the day, it isn't an ongoing game. It hasn't lived for a year. It hasn't been alive for a year. Let that sink in. So I can release a game today. It's been alive for 2 weeks and I'm going to get, because I've announced that it's a live service game, that should be up for awards? Nah. Anyway, That's me. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I will see you in the next one. As always, remain legend.